Hi everyone! So today we're going to be talking about if you want it, then just make the time. This is Keisha Renee, my awesome husband.
Jason J. Rice.
And welcome to Love is a Verb.
So yeah, guys, so let's just jump right into the conversation. Today we're going to be talking about, again, like if you want something, make the time for it. This is kind of I don't know how to say it, but I always be like, my wife, like, oh, I want to write more, I want to read more, I want to do this more, I want to do this. But then I'm like, okay, well, you got to create the time to do that. Now, and I also do the same thing. Mostly I live in the moment. So in the moment that I'm thinking, I probably should do this, then I'm going to do that. Now, what I do is reflecting on that. How I try to make the time for stuff sometimes is I try and just schedule it in my day. But
yeah, I feel like it was important to talk about this just because we've been talking a lot about goals and just a new quarter and like just taking the time to map out like the things that you want to do. I find it hard sometimes to like actually do the things I want to do because like a lot of people, I make excuses, right? And it's kind of annoying. I know myself sometimes when I'm like, oh man, I could have done this, but I didn't because I was doing this. So I think it's just important to recognize it first. That's the first step. And then like from there, just figuring out how to make the time. So that's why I felt like I wanted to talk about it. Jason's really good. Like I personally feel like you're really good at just building it into like your day. Like for you, it's not really, it's something you're already like proactively doing. And I commend you for that. Like I watch you and I'm just like, he is going, and so you encourage me. So I think that's awesome.
man, I mean, thank you for telling me that. It's a lot because, like on the weekends, I take the time, I play my video games, I do all the stuff that I want to do during the week. But during the week, I'm like, the time better spent for me is definitely going to be, taking care of my body, taking care of my mental, taking care of the things that I want to do to benefit myself first. And I normally do those things early in the morning before I can get distracted with I'm not going to say frustrations, but as you get started with your workday, when the world is awake, things just continue to pull you. And what happens, what I noticed from you is things will pull you and then it'll get stressful and you're just pulled all day. And then by the end of the day, you're just like, I just want to relax.
Completely exhausted. Yeah.
Completely exhausted. And it's just like, I just want to do something that's, relaxing and just kind of chilling, for lack of a better words. But what I've learned is once you put it in your day, like if you schedule it, like people think I'm crazy, but from 4:30 in the morning, I have like hour blocks of what I leave a little bit of time from like the mid-afternoon to kind of like adjust time, but hour blocks of everything that I know I need to do. My workout is time blocked. My time that I eat is time blocked. Time that I read is time blocked. Time that I'm going to call specific individuals and how long I'm going to talk to them is time blocked. But I started all this because I've been reading Atomic Habits and just trying to put together compounding habits to just benefit you in the long run, because I truly believe in doing it for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, like habit stacking and being like, oh, okay, I focus on this at this time, my body, my mind is almost like, it's time to do this. So period. And you're just like, okay, cool. Because we get into a routine. A lot of times as humans, we don't want to like, we're like, oh, we want to be free. But I tell you what, like me staying on a routine Monday through Friday, it gives me and Saturday, I pretty much am on a routine too. Sunday is the only day where I'm just like, whatever time or whatever I feel like doing is what I'm
like Sunday's
going to do.
Like relaxed day.
Yeah. But I definitely think it's beneficial. And we do it together too. But things that I know I want to make more time for is just because we get into building, right? We're so much entrepreneurs that we just get into like go mode. And
before you get into that, I was gonna ask you, like, since you talk about routines and like building into your lifestyle, like how long do you think it took you to have to create the habit for it to be something that your body's just like, oh, it's time for this? Like, how long would you recommend staying on course? Like, I know we have the Alpha and 80, so do you feel like 80 days or?
So I feel like for me, if you give me a good 30 days of doing something consistently, I can build it into my life structure, right? And there's going to be days where, you slip up. I just try not to go more than 2 days, it's like slipping up. Now, like if you're like sick or, you're then okay, cool, you might can have a week or whatever. But for me, it's 30 days. The reason why I created the Alpha and 8 is because like what you want to do is you don't want to like do something for 30 days and then go back to your normal shit habits, right?
Right, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So
yeah.
if you do something for 80 days or longer, then it creates a lifestyle. So now you're just like, this is my lifestyle. This is what I do every day. Because a lot of times, and the reason why I started the Alpha and 80 was just to help our family with some health stuff, right? And then I was like, I'm just going to release it to the world. But with habits and making time for stuff, it's really just about, in my opinion, it's really just about being able to schedule it. We all have the same 24 hours a day. But I think what we get into is we get into wanting to do the leisure things and we're like wondering why we're stuck in a certain place. And it's like, okay, well, if you want to watch something on TV, then either you got to multitask while you're watching something and doing something productive, or you have to say, all right, from this time to this time, I'm going to enjoy a game. I'm not going to worry about anything on Thursdays from 8 to 10. I'm watching football or whatever. That's kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just makes me think about like what works for me. Like that works for you, just like mapping it out and time blocking it. But for me, like time blocking works, but like you said, like something can pull me away. So it's hard. Like time blocking is hard for me just because of that. Like I love time blocking, but because there's so many things that pull me away in my day, I have to find another way that works for me. And mostly that's just like, okay, when I'm taking that leisure time, like that time to just like chill or whatever, because I feel like I'm mentally exhausted, it's a thought thing. Like I have to change my thought process and start to think, okay, I'm about to watch this movie. Can I use this time doing something else, right? Like, can I use this time to do something productive? And then that's the trigger for me. Like, yes, I can. What time is it? All right, let me spend this time right now to do this. And then I can have that time that I want to have, So that's what's been working for me, just because I'm pulled all the time. But I definitely recommend time blocking, because I time block as much as I can, especially in my work day. It works like so much. But if you're getting pulled away, I would just like encourage you guys just to like, once you try to catch yourself. Like once you realize, oh, I'm about to I could be doing something else during this time, I'm about to chill. then maybe that'll be a trigger for you to do something else during that time. So
What also,
just a thought.
I mean, what helps me is knowing what my big picture is. And, you know, we say this all the time, get around people, you know, your circle needs to be full of accountability partners, right? So for me, when I look at my circle and I look at what they're doing, I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, and if I want to keep these people as friends or whatever, all right, I got to make sure I'm focused for whatever my bigger picture is. So when I'm like, oh man, I feel like I want to slack off. I feel like I don't want to teach myself something today, or whatever it is. I'd be like, okay, well, here's the bigger picture. So you don't have time to do that. You got to focus on this. What also helps me is, guys, I just discovered this. There's this cool feature on your phone called Do Not Disturb. And when I tell you, like, I mean, from 4:30 till about 8, I don't have to worry about it. No one's going to disturb me. No one's really up. And whenever everyone's up doing their own, like, focusing thing, so I don't have to worry about that. But in the evenings, I kind of turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, probably around like 7:30 to get my time to kind of mentally woosah. And then I plan my next day, do all my reading, do everything. Then I turn my phone I turn my phone back on to, like, my family can disturb me if they need to. And also for business, I have a second phone. So, like, when it's not business hours, unless, like, we're in a deal and, like, it might blow up, that's the only time where I'm going to answer my phone after 7 o'clock for work stuff. I think that people got to get used to telling people, no, I can't go do this. We've started to experiment with that a little bit. And if our friends want to do something, we're like, hey, let's get it on a calendar and then let's go do it. We can't just be like, oh.
Yeah, it has to be planned ahead of time. That last minute, it's just, if you already have plans, you know, like, it really throws a wrench in everything. Because
Yeah.
then you got to figure out where to make it up at. So yeah, I totally agree with that. But you mentioned accountability partners. I feel like that is, like, a really great way to, like, realize, like, when you're doing something too, like, you know, if you have your accountability partners and you guys set goals together and they're like, well, why didn't you, like, I hit this goal, but why didn't you hit this goal? Oh, I was watching TV, or, oh, I was doing something else. Like, that's a really good way for them to recognize, like, you're like, if you're not self-aware, because I know a lot of people, they're doing things and they don't really recognize it. They don't really realize it. That's a good way for someone to point out some things that you may have missed. So I definitely encourage accountability partners too. But the Do Not Disturb, I haven't used that feature, but maybe I should. I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't really, because we're on a 3-hour time difference with my family. So like you said, like, generally they don't reach out, like, it's, you know, because of that. But I feel like for me, it's more social media that, like, I'm attracted to, and, like, I'm always it distracts me.
I dabbled in this yesterday, and because I have an addictive personality, meaning, like, I'm addicted to going to the gym period. Like, if I could go and be in the gym all day, every day, I know my body doesn't really look like that, but I'm addicted to just, you know, working out. But what I did yesterday was I was like, oh man, I spend too much time just scrolling and TikToking and looking at stupid stuff. So what I did yesterday was like, all right, I got an hour, because we do this stuff, right? We do a podcast. I do, you know, stuff for my real estate company. She does her own YouTube stuff. So for an hour, I go through and I just comment on people's stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm searching. So for an hour, I do that. And then I time myself, I put an hour in where I could just scroll. Right now, what's the cool thing is you say, hey, I have a 2-hour limit for social media. That's all across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And guess what? After those 2 hours, your phone will not allow you to get on it.
With Do Not Disturb?
No, like, you could, yeah,
Oh.
it's a feature of the Do Not Disturb. but you could tell it like, hey, I don't want to work on these apps for whatever point of time, and
That's
it will
cool.
not. It'll give you an error like you can't get on this. You got to go do.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I might have to try that out because I spend a lot of time, like you said, going on because I have like a lot of people that I, have met online and I try to keep up with their stuff and then like vice versa, and building relationships that way. So I'm on there a lot, and that's Facebook, that's TikTok, that's YouTube, that's Instagram, so it takes a lot of my time. So that's something that I could consider for sure. Thank you for that tip. That's something that could help me as well.
yeah, I mean, but you got to be specific. Like, I think people,
Yeah.
and this is a side note, I think people use the platform wrong. I'm just noticing that. Like, all right, so like, people want to know about your lives. Like, I post about my life. You post about your life. Like, you don't want to just be all business or whatever. But a lot of times we get so distracted of building like everything is set up to be a distraction. You got TV, you got video games, you got Instagram, Facebook, you got all that stuff that's really distracting you from achieving whatever your goal is. Because if you think about it this way, right? So for me, prospecting is a big part of my business. So if I say I'm spending 4 hours, and your phone tells you I'm spending 4 hours a day that I don't even notice that I'm doing it, just searching and just looking at stupid shit on social, right? But if I could say, hey, if I can cut that 2 hours and then spend it on either writing a business plan, building something like productively using, I got 2 hours back. So that's finding time to be able to do some stuff that you want to do. Like you said,
Totally.
it's really like you got to self analyze like
really
what you are currently doing with your time, and figure out a way that your time is better spent.
Totally. I agree. So definitely a focus right now, just like trying to figure that out for me, because I think I've gotten so much into the habit of like, okay, work between these hours, glued. I'm glued. It's work. I'm not really doing much, it's just nothing but work. And then after work, it's like I'm, like you said, drained, that I feel like I don't have enough time. So I try to do stuff in the morning. Like I'm trying to do that more, do stuff in the morning, because I realize after work, I don't want to do anything else. So I'm trying to get out of that habit and trying to put some of this stuff, because I can't do it all in the, I mean, I probably could if I get up much, much earlier, which that's a whole nother topic we don't have to go into. But I want to be able to put some of that on the back end, for when I get off and use my time better. So I know you were going to go into like things that you feel like you want to make more time for, and I kind of stopped you, but I just really wanted to just add a tip in there. But I'm kind of curious. I want to hear what you feel like you want to make more time for.
I gotta make more time for like actual date nights, because like what I've started to notice is like when we go out with friends or we're going out, and it could be like a work function, which is not really a date night, but it's like we're going out and I'm like, oh, we went out, it's cool. So I'm trying to figure out how to plan date nights in my week, at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, but really
Cool.
so that's really kind of one of my focuses, is to make more time for, I mean, we're always together. We're always doing business and doing stuff together. But where it's just like, we're not always like, okay, well, hey, how do we get more viewers on this? How do we get 2 or 3 houses this year? What does our income need to be so we can do that? We do a lot of like, all right, work, building stuff, but that's because we're on a trajectory where we want to be like financially like free in the next 10 years, where if we wanted to retire, we could just be like, we're not doing anything. We set ourselves up, we're good. So those are the things that I really want to work on.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of just business stuff already, and I feel like I need to work on more of spending more time on our personal stuff. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we do watch movies and everything together,
Well,
but
we've been
that's
doing
not
that
the same.
more lately. I was gonna say that. So I feel like it's been better. If that's something that you've been working on, I can definitely tell. So I appreciate it because I love our like time together where we're just not talking about business, because it's always, I mean, being in the same field, it's hard not to talk about business. But yeah, I appreciate that time. So I've noticed. So keep that going. I was gonna probably say the same thing, like not talking about work so much, and like just finding ways to like not talk about it and things to do outside of that. But more personal for me, some of the goals that we talked about, obviously, finding time for that. Like I want to really get into reading more, because there's so many things out there that I feel like I can learn about, or maybe even like, if it's not reading a book to learn it, like taking a class to learn it, you know, or something like another language, you know, more personal things to like help me grow personally, you know. And so that's what I'm thinking, like just things that I want to do. So finding the time for those things like dancing, you know, like dance classes, or, you know, just taking on a skill. I know I talked a lot about taking on a skill. So yeah, just taking it away from like always being work, because it feels like my life is like, it's really heavy.
Well, that's the difference. I don't mean to cut you off. I think that's the difference, right? For me, it's like, and for me, it's like I don't look at it as work. I look at it as just, this is my profession. I love to do it.
Yeah, it's
like,
different for you.
I also think like switching your mind frame, because a lot of times, like, I'm going to say this, she was not going to say it, like she's trying to find the time to have a balance in life. That's why I'm habit stacking, because I don't feel that there's a balance in life. If I work my ass off, when I hit these milestones, then I can go do this, so I can come right back and work my ass off and hit these milestones.
See, but I feel like that equals balance. That's the same thing. You're just saying it in a different way.
Okay. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, you work hard, you play hard.
But I think but see, for me, I feel like maybe we got to look at, like, you can't get balance in the same day or the same week. You know, you got to be like, all right, I did 6 weeks of hard labor. I'm going to take 2 weeks off because I earned it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's different, you know, because the route that we're going in the business.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little different for me because I'm in the corporate world. So
but, you know,
it's every day.
Well, I mean, I feel you. I mean.
But I give my all every day, and that's my choice. I know some people who don't, you know, like who just come into work and they're just like, I'm not feeling it today. I'm the person that I might not be feeling it, but I do it anyway because that's just who I am.
But that's how you build business.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we have all these other outside endeavors or whatever, and we're building all those things.
Very true.
You know,
but no, that's good advice.
And, you know, so, I mean, but those are the things that I really just want to tell people, like, you know, and this one too. So I'll say this and then I'll get out of here. So a lot of people, you know, I believe that the healthiest habit that you can have is taking care of your body. And I think, like, if you take care of your body, you take care of your mental. It's just weird that I promise you, I'm not a scientist. I don't know why it works this way, but what I noticed for me is if you work out in the morning, I have more energy throughout the rest of my day. And then I'm more mentally clear when bullshit happens, right? I'm more mentally clear to be able how to deflect the bullshit. But I just feel like everybody should wake up an hour earlier than you currently do some kind of physical activity. You know, I'd also urge you to read or listen to an audiobook to kind of put into your spare time, learn about your craft or whatever you want to do. Because that's only going to help you in the long run. And look at the bigger picture, but focus on the small things that are going to help you get to the bigger picture. That's really why we wanted to have this talk today, because we're doing so much in our lives right now to be able to live that way. And so much positive things are happening because we have decided to just do it this way. Everything doesn't work for everybody, but just like if you were dating a girl or dating a guy and you really like them, you're going to find the time to go see them, right? You're going to find the time to spend time with them. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm too busy or this. No, because, okay, cool, well, you don't need every day. I just need a couple hours a week, whatever. You can find that time. I promise you everyone has a couple of extra hours a week to do something. But I just wanted to give you guys that because I think you gotta focus.
Yep. And just to add on to that, think about it. Hopefully this has your, mind wandering okay, have I hit that goal? Why haven't I hit that goal? And brings you to be more aware. And then take those steps, just like Jason said, every day, touch on it, whatever you want to accomplish, do whatever it takes. And one step at a time, if you're touching on it every day, you're going to get there. It's not easy. Nobody's perfect. But we have to do what we have to do. And if you really want it, we have to put in the work for it. And so don't get discouraged. Hopefully these tips help and have you kind of thinking about that more if you haven't thought about it. And as always, we appreciate your time and just coming here to watch and listen to us. So thank you so much. Did you have something else you want to add? Just look at us as examples, right? Sometimes I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you this works for us. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at things that work for other people, and everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. There's no different from you than the next person. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Everybody, some people had a different starting point. So but at the same time, you are in control of what you do with your time. So you can't be mad if someone is more successful, whatever success looks like for you, and they dedicated all their time to that, and you didn't. So that's my whole thing with this. We have dedicated our time to build each other, to build our relationship. We dedicated our time to get in front of cameras and talk to you guys because we're really passionate about growing this thing because love is a verb. And we started when we first do it, kind of tell you everything we do is an action, right? So that's love is a verb. So if you love yourself, you got to do the actual action things to show yourself that you love yourself. If you can't say you love yourself and you're sitting on a couch eating a tub of ice cream. I love ice cream. I love ice cream.
I love ice cream, but
analogy.
But I get
where you're going.
But overeating. If you do a whole tub at the same time, that's crazy. So don't do that. But just my cry out to you guys is, this week just start, taking some time and putting things that you really want to do. And it could be simple if it's just man, I really want to go walk down by the stream and just listen to nature. Well, that's going to make you a better, more calmer, freer person. Put that in your day. Go do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's really it, because that's what we're doing a lot of right now. Again, I tell people just live in a moment, control what you can control. Don't worry about anything else. Everything else will take care of itself. But that's really my 2 cents to end the topic today.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I love that. So thank you guys. Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. If there's anything that you feel like you want to share, we love to learn from you all as well. This is two ways. We're here just giving you the tips and things that work for us or whatever's top of mind for us. It's all about love and just making sure that we're the best version of ourselves. So don't forget to hit the like button as well and notification bell just to stay in tune with more of our videos coming soon, because we do have more coming your way. And thank you so much for watching and listening.
Don't forget to share too, guys.
Yes,
don't
and
forget to share. All the things. But thank you guys so much. You guys have a great
have a good
rest
day.
of your day and rest of your week.
Bye.
Peace.